Today we're going to be looking at the latest update from Deepseek, which is Deepseek Prover 2. This has literally just been released and it's basically like a maths model. Now, I'm going to be running you through exactly what it does, why it's important, how it works, etc. And we're just going to get straight into this. So essentially, this is not like Deepseek R2 or anything like that, just to make it very, very clear here. What you're looking at is a new sort of different type of model that's more based on logic, specifically for maths. Now you can see the benchmarks here. It's also available on Hugging Face as well, so you can see it's hosted on Hugging Face and also GitHub as well. You can get access to. So it's going to be interesting to take a look at this model. The interesting thing about this as well is that this is a new open source model, right? So the thing about Deepseek is they're constantly releasing new open source models. Now, just give me 1 second, we'll get back to you on the stream. So just wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and I'll just get back to you in a sec. In the meantime, feel free to post any questions you have. Alright, so if you're wondering about the latest update, basically, Zhehong Xiao, researcher from Deepseek, has said that we just released Deepseek Prover 2. It solves nearly 90% of mini F2F problems. It significantly improves the SOTA performance on the Putnam bench, and it achieves a non-trivial pass rate of AMI 24 and 25 problems in their formal version. Right? This is the Deepseek release page. So you can see here Deepseek Prover 2, advanced formal mathematical reasoning via reinforcement learning for subcore decomposition. All right, I'll be breaking down in a very simplified way what this means in a second. So don't worry about that. If you're wondering, okay, what does this mean, etc., what's all this jargon? Don't worry, we're on the same page here. I don't understand half the stuff that was just in that last sentence, but don't worry about that. So we'll come on to that in a second. So you can see here in the introduction on GitHub, they said, we introduced Deepseek Prover v2, an open source large language model designed for formal theorem proving in Lean 4. Now, you can see the benchmarks here, you can see the model summary in terms of what it's used for. And if you're wondering, okay, what does all this mean in English? Basically, you can get, number one, free access via OpenRouter to the API. So this is a Deepseek Prover 2. You can see it was just created on April 30th, so it is a brand new model. And it is a 671B parameter model. All right, so if you want to chat with it directly, you can inside the chat here. And then we'll be testing that in a second. And then also you can see what apps it's available with using the API, right? So you can create an API key for this here. And if you want to know, okay, what apps is it available in? So you've got, for example, RuCode, you've got Kling, ChatWise, all these apps you can use the Deepseek API in, and it is free. It's a free gift. Look at that. It doesn't cost you anything. You can switch to standard if you want to pay, but I wouldn't recommend that. Just use the free version. The one thing that I will say is, like, when these new APIs get released, like for example Deepseek, you know, quite often what you're going to see is like it is slow, right? It does take. It is going to get rinsed essentially. But yeah, essentially that's how you can use it. So let's come on to now what it means, right? So let's break it down into basic language and exactly what it means, how to use it, etc., how you can get access, and how, you know, why Deepseek have released this as well, and also the history of Deepseek, because Deepseek have a super interesting history, which we'll come on to in a second. All right, so Deepseek Prover 2 is a mathematical reasoning model, 671B parameters, and advanced formal theorem proving. So what is Deepseek Prover v2? Well, it's a revolutionary AI model designed to transform formal mathematical theorem. So this is not like a chatbot you would design, for example, for writing content, for example. This is like a mixture of experts model that's kind of fine-tuned for maths. It's recursive problem decomposition. So it utilizes like a sort of a state-of-the-art complex problem-solving method. It's also state-of-the-art performance. You can see here how it performs on the mini F2F test benchmarks and how it scores 49 out of 658 challenging problems. On the forum, theorem proving is specifically designed for like lean formal theorem proving, if that makes sense. All right. Now, if you want a simplified version of this, I've got a simplified version for you here. All right. So basically, it's math magic made simple. So what does it mean? Well, it's a super smart maths model designed to solve hard maths problems. So Deepseek Prover V2 is kind of like a computer brain that's really good at solving maths problems. You know, it can prove why maths answers are right. It was just released, so it was released on April the 30th, and it breaks problems down into like smaller ones, right? So it's very good at like splitting hard maths problems, breaking them down, and then figuring how to solve them, okay? Now, if you're wondering, okay, like who started Deepseek, what's the history of the company, etc., let me explain this to you. So Leon Wangfeng, he started Deepseek in 2023. Before that, he ran a sort of money-related finance company called High Flyer, and he just wanted to focus on AI, right? So in May 2023, Deepseek was really born, you know, and they started the company. May 2024, they made Deepseek version 2, their first sort of big AI model. That was the one that really came on everyone's radar. And then in January 2025, Deepseek R1 came out, and that pretty much blew everything out the water. I think Deepseek version, Deepseek R2 is going to be even crazier. And then finally, Deepseek Prover 2 was born, and this is focused on maths problems. Now, in terms of the technical architecture, so how does Deepseek Prover V2 achieve like all this stuff? So it's got, number one, 163K token context window, recursive search, transformer base, cold start RL, MOE architecture. Basically, this is all the technology it's using, right? So it's really good at like problem decomposition, very good at dual reasoning, has two different model sizes, so it's available in 7B and 671B, and inference optimization. What would be interesting for this is actually if you could test it for coding, especially for like hard coding challenges. You know, coding is very similar to maths, so that's basically how it works. Now, if I had to break that down into like a simpler version of how you can use this and what it means, etc., and basically Deepseek Prover V2 is like having like a really smart friend in maths who can break down big problems into smaller, easier ones. So, you know, stage one is going to be looking at the problem. Stage two is going to be breaking it down, right? That's the problem decomposition technology that's using. Step three, it solves each piece. And step four, it puts it all together. So this is really good at math, solving hard problems. I think engineering problems, stuff like that would be quite interesting as well. And you can see how it performs on all the benchmarks right here. So this is Prover Bench, which is a comprehensive benchmark for evaluating mathematical theorem proving capabilities across multiple domains. And you can see a breakdown of each right here. So in terms of like educational coverage, performance benchmarks, comprehensive evaluation, and competition grade problems. So this is really like achieving state-of-the-art results. The other crazy thing about this is like Deepseek, they didn't release like any crazy white paper or anything like that. They just published this, put it on GitHub, and then released it. And it is absolutely popping off on Twitter. If you check what's trending right now, it's pretty wild. So you can see some of the examples right here. You know how it's trending. And yeah. Now, here's how you can use it. All right, so if you want to get started on using this, basically you can just grab the API. So for example, if we want to start using this, we can go into the chat here. And then, you know, you could give it a riddle or a challenge, etc. Obviously, it's very, very good at maths. So if we give it, let's see if we can find some complex maths problems for AI. Alright, so we'll try this one. I'm not particularly good at maths, but we'll take that in. We'll plug that into OpenRouter here. So we're using Deepseek Prover v2. Again, this is completely free. Interesting that you might be able to connect it to web search as well. I don't think it's going to be particularly useful for that. But essentially, then we can start using this reasoning model for that process, right? Actually running an error right now, which is interesting. Let's have a look here. There you go. Alright. So like I said, the free version, usually these new APIs that come out, they break, right? Because everyone's like abusing them. But if you switch to the paid version on the standard model, then it will definitely work inside the chat. And you can see the chat here with the breakdown. So you can see how it solves the problems, breaks it down in steps, and then starts using its process to figure stuff out. Now, why does this matter? Well, number one, it makes learning easier. Number two, scientists can use this, right? This is not for like the average day Joe. The maths helper is more than just fun. It's for solving problems. So, for example, scientists can use this to check if their maths ideas are actually right, which helps them discover things faster. So it's really good for research, new discoveries, checking ideas. It can help us make better computer programs, so it's really good for like coding and that sort of thing. And also just for smarter thinking in general, like anything related to thinking, reasoning, solving problems, everyday puzzles, etc. This model could be really good. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how to get it, so there's a few different ways. You can actually use GitHub as well, and you can open it up in Python. But probably the easiest way to use this is you can just go onto OpenRouter. So if you click on OpenRouter over here, you can get access, and then you can see all the breakdown of exactly how it's being used and that sort of thing. The recent activity for this, and also how it's going. Now you can see here as well the uptime stats. So this is dropping over time. Yeah, the other ways you can use Python as well to open it. So let's talk more about like what this opens the door for, right? So key applications. The one is academic research. So for example, assisting mathematicians, exploring new theories, automatically generating and validating formal proofs, accelerating mathematical discovery, and increasing research productivity. Number two is software verification. So enhancing like formal verification of critical software systems, right? So for example, like checking algorithms or cryptographic protocols or mission critical systems. The other option is error detection and correction. So just identifying flaws in mathematical proofs by meticulously checking each logical step, helping researchers and students correct subtle errors. And then also for educational learning. So it's creating detailed step-by-step explanations alongside the formal proof, which basically helps students and mathematicians learn and improve along the way. Now, in terms of like everyday applications, you could use this for like personal finance. That could be an option. Problem solving, so like a problem solving assistant. So it could act as basically like a tutor that helps you through solving challenging problems, thinking, reasoning, etc. And educational support, so like it can help students at all levels. Now, in terms of the performance benchmarks, you can see them right here, broken down. And you can see how this outperforms for mathematical theorem versus GPT-4, Anthropic, Google Gemini, and SOTA as well. So if we take a look here, if we compare the benchmarks, Deepseek Prover 2 scores 88.9% on the mini F2F test, whereas GPT-4 scores 75.2, Claude 71, Gemini 68, and previous state of the art was 63. So it's a big step in improvement. Now, let's talk about like what the big difference is here. So number one is the context window for the reasoning model. Number two is the open source part of it. And number three is the architecture for using this as well. And again, if you want to use this with Python, that's a basic way to sort of use it with Python, and then you just install the required packages, or you can just get the API alternative and format the prompts to start using it. The other thing as well, I think, is like, looking forward, this is only going to accelerate research, which is only going to help us speed up with developments in AI as well. So that's basically it, peeps. That is Deepseek Prover 2 broken down. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to get all the notes from today, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Every single day there's an update. We just update this with something new. So for example, like Quen 3 just came out. We updated and added a full SOP for that, plus a bunch of useful resources here. You can see as well, Lutra, we've got a full SOP on how to automate stuff with this one-click AI agent. And this is all the updates just from April. So we've also got updates from, for example, like March, from February, etc. If you go inside the community here as well, you can ask any questions you have inside the community. So if you're stuck with anything, feel free to ask inside the community and we can help you. And additionally, we've got weekly Q&A calls. So if you have any questions, you can just jump on those Q&As, ask any questions you have, and we're happy to help on that too. And then inside the classroom as well, like we've got so many different courses on, AI agents, AI SEO automation, how we've actually implemented AI into our business in a very practical way, as you can see right here. And so if you want to learn like exactly how to make money and scale with AI, then feel free to check out this communities, link in the comments and description. It's just focused on making money, and it's a community of members all focused on the same goals as you. Also, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to get that. Link in the comments and description. We'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. And on this free link building acceleration session, you're going to get everything you need to get results with SEO. We'll give you a custom tailored game plan to grow your business and to get bigger, better results, plus more free leads, customers, and sales directly from Google. Sonam says, always excited to see the news you bring. I was wondering, how do you get up to date with these daily updates? That's a really good question. So for me, I have a bunch of spreadsheets where it's got the link directly to check what's going on, right? And that could be, for example, some YouTube channels that I follow, certain news resources, and also Twitter is really, really good for this. So if you go into Twitter here, quite often if you go down to the trending section, you'll see a bunch of stuff that's trending, and you can figure out, okay, what's going on and what's trending out there as well. Yeah. So a combination of YouTube, X, and then also using a bunch of different news sources. First letter says, how much is it to sign up to get access to your website? So this is a community hosted on School, and it is $63 a month. So if you want to join, it's $63 a month. And the prices go up pretty much every single month. So if you want to join, feel free. It does come with a 14-day money back guarantee, right? So, if you don't like it or if it doesn't help you, we do have a 14-day money back guarantee. But honestly, like 99.9% of people don't use that, right? Like it's super valuable and it comes with so much good stuff. Also as well, like inside here, you can DM me, you can DM any of the community members if you want help. So there's just tons of cool stuff in there. I mean, you can see the community here is super active. Like we're just constantly adding new things here. So for example, for keyword research, you can see all these community posts. Everyone gets a comment and help on their posts as well. And so like anytime you're stuck, you can just come to this community and get answers whenever you need them. And that's super powerful. The next thing that I want to check out is using Kling. So Kling have just released 2.0 and I want to check this out and just see how it performs, what it's like, etc. And also just see how powerful it is. So I'm going to sign into Kling. I think you can create a free account, but I'll have to upgrade probably halfway through the stream. But we'll see how this performs and see what we get back. So Kling is a video generator. And from what I've seen, it's kind of similar to like Runway Gen and that sort of thing. But essentially, you can use Kling 2.0, which is the latest release, to generate prompts. So if we go to inspiration and presets here, you can see a bunch of different ideas. So let's test this one. And then you can add in like frames and that sort of thing. So I want to see how people are using this and really get my head around it and test it. I've not tested it a lot, so I'm not going to say I'm an expert in Kling or anything like that, but I do want to check it out and just see what we get back. And first letter says, I get my daily AI news from Julian. Legend. Thank you. All right. So you can see some of the stuff that people are creating, like it's absolutely wild. What you can do with this, like the camera motion as well. It's kind of like you're creating Netflix level, responses. And this is a comparison of each. So you got Runway Gen 4, Veo 2, and Kling 2.0, which is pretty interesting as well. And it's mainly the camera movements that seem to be like absolutely wild. Let's look at some of these examples. Let's see if anyone's posted any prompts for using Kling 2.0. Yeah, this is crazy. Look at some of the stuff you can create. It's kind of like, I imagine like there's going to be so many AI films in the future. You can see the prompt here. Let's try this out. So I'm just going to take this prompt, like you can see, and then we're going to go over to the prompt section over here. Camera rotates around the subject. We'll generate a 5-second clip. We have to upload a start frame. Let's change that. Your prompt is too long. All right, let's delete that last bit. So you can see there's a character limit on the word count here. Let's have a look. So 262 words. So I'm just going to delete that bit right there. And then we'll generate this. So we seem to have some sort of credits. So you can see here on the free plan, 166 credits. We can generate this and it will cost 100 credits. So you can generate like one 5-second video a day. That's what it seems to be like. So we're going to generate that now. Okay, so to use Kling 2.0 Master, you have to pay. Interesting. All right, let's try that. $6.99 per month, not bad. All right. Just going to check out here. Boom. All right, we're done there. We're done. First thing I always try and do whenever I sign up to a tool, by the way, like, because otherwise you just get a ridiculous amount of subscriptions, is cancel it, right? So as soon as you sign up, cancel that bad boy. Otherwise you just get charged and you totally forget about this stuff. So I'm just going to click on cancel over here. Confirm cancellation. And we've cancelled that, all right? Always do that, I would recommend, unless you're planning to use it forever, but I think most people watching here won't. So let's go back now. It's deleted the old prompt. Okay, great. We'll have to go back and get it. There we go. And then we're going to try the text to video method right here. Hit generate. Let's see what we get back. Libda says, hello from Algeria. Shout out to you, mate. Good to see you on here. All right. Estimated waiting time is 5 minutes. Takes absolutely ages, doesn't it? I can imagine why, but still. It'll be interesting to see what we get back. Wonder if we can generate like multiple in the background as well. Just to be super time efficient. The use of end frame takes more time. You can work on other projects. Okay, great. So you can do other stuff in the background. So you can sort of like queue them up, it looks like, I think, right? You can actually edit videos, upload images. Okay, cool. The quality is insane. Basecamp Bernie says, that is actually a brilliant idea. Cancel right away. I've just wasted so much on unused subscriptions. We've all been there, mate. Don't worry about that, Bernie. Spent a fortune on subscriptions I didn't need. It happened to me yesterday and I was like, oh, how did I forget? First letter said, so it's generating the picture as well. You didn't have to provide an initial photo. Yeah, so what you could do is you can use the text to video option here. And that seems to be quite slow. You know, it's taking like 5 minutes to generate. But yeah, so you don't need to upload an image that way. If you go to image to video, that's where you would upload your video, your image directly. So let's test this out inside the image to video section. We'll take an example like this one. We're going to use Kling 2.0. Master, and then we'll try this out. I also wonder whether if you've got an image like this, if you've got a starting frame, whether that's going to be faster. But it does seem to be like 5 minutes each time. So you can see here, estimated waiting time 4 minutes, 2 minutes now. Let's just generate a view and then we can test this out. What's interesting as well is you can recreate stuff. So you see here, at the bottom it's got a recreate option. So like any of the creations inside this section, in the creative section, you can change. Let's have a look at the shorts as well. Some wild stuff here. It's like GTA, yeah? Alright, let's test this out. So if we go back to creatives now. And can we can't search, okay. People just keep generating images of women. It's let's see if we can like search for dragon or something like that. Let's have a look. All right, cool. So we'll click on this, and then it's got. What's interesting here as well is it's got a prompt, and then it's got a negative prompt. So it tries to avoid that stuff, and then it goes to this stuff. So let's click on recreate here. See if we can remake this. So it will take the original image, gives us a prompt, and then if we hit generate, that's a 10-second video. So I guess it's going to take a bit longer. We'll hit generate and just see if we can recreate that. Now we've got the video back from this one. This is crazy. Look at that. Wow. What a film's going to look like in the future? That's what I wonder. I mean, you can only generate like a 10-second clip right now, but still, that's absolutely insane. I wonder as well, like, you're going to find certain creators on here who just create awesome stuff. So if we go to this guy, shout out to Dmitry Demicek, we can see the other stuff that he's created, right? And so if we switch now to creatives, why is that not showing up? There we go. Yeah, so like, if you find a certain style that you like, you can go into that creator's profile and just check through all their other creations, and then you can recreate it yourself, which is pretty cool. So you can see, for example, this guy, he's creating like a lot of fantasy art, and then you can generate that and sort of remix it and create your own as well. I'm also thinking, like, if you can search on Google and just try and find like stuff that you want, but I don't think it's categorized by, yeah, it's not indexing that well. Okay. Let's click on this one. And if we click on recreate here, and then we'll change this to a menacing dragon emerges from the foliage. We'll generate that. So 30 seconds left for that one, 30 seconds left for that, 8 minutes for that bad boy. So let's have a look at the next one, see what we got here. ShadowX says, hi Julian, I just started making YouTube shorts. What do you recommend as the best AI video generator? It depends what you want to create, right? So I mean, for something more artistic like this, I think Kling 2 is really good. But then if you want to generate something that's maybe more realistic, HeyGen is usually the best. And Arcads as well. Arcads looks really, really cool. I've just not tested the latest updates on Arcads because I was always subscribed to all these other tools. But yeah, I would check out HeyGen. And also Descript as well. I've got a tutorial inside the AI Profit Boardroom on how to automate like fully faceless videos. So if you type in faceless here, we've got a couple of different methods for generating faceless videos, but that's another way to generate shorts as well. And that's kind of like really quick and easy. It's just like you go into the tool, click the button, type in your prompt, boom, you've got a short. Really, really easy and simple to create. So let's check this one out. What we've got here. Yeah, the creativity is off the charts, isn't it, with Kling 2? It's out of control. You're going to get film creators who just got trained on Kling 2. Like the modern day Martin Scorsese is going to be from Kling 2. So let's see what we got here so far. So that is by far the most impressive creation we created. This one, it doesn't blow me away, but it is super interesting. This one is really cool. I'm interested to see how this one comes out. I want to try as well taking an image of myself and then using that to generate an example. So I wonder if you can transform the image. I guess you just animate the image, right? Like it doesn't actually change what you look like, etc. But let's see. What we got. I'm just going to have a look for a picture in the background. So what I'm going to do now, let's test this out. I'm going to take an image, we'll delete that one, we'll upload an image that I just downloaded, right, which is like me on stage speaking, etc. And then I'm going to take that image, put it inside ChatGPT. I'll say create a prompt for Kling 2.0 to turn this picture into a really funny 5-second video clip. Alright, let's take that one. We'll go back into Kling. We'll delete that. We'll plug that in. And then also, let's have a look at the presets. So the camera rotates around the object. Camera is stationary, handhelds. Okay, let's take that. Put that into 5 seconds. Hit generate. And that's going to be another 5 minutons. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. This is with the dragon. Wow. This is crazy. I mean, it's a bit... It's a bit weird how the graphic changes there, but I mean, to be honest, you compare that to CGI back in the 80s or 90s, mate. You're like, this is a million times better and a million times easier to generate. So it looks really, really cool. This one is still generating right now. We've got the... Yeah, we're creating some really cool stuff here. What else could we do? The other one that I saw was like, I think it was Kling and it was celebrities or something like that. Kind of like in a dreamlike state. Let me find that. Yeah, this was it. This was really, really crazy. It is absolutely wild what you can do with it. I mean, if, let's say, for example, I don't know, someone, let's say someone, maybe a generation behind me saw this on Facebook, like they probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It looks really, really human. That's another comparison. So Luma Ray versus Runway versus Kling. And that was the older version. "30 seconds left. The countdown begins." Some people saying, Alec Thomas says Lumen Labs is better, Dream Machine. These two are taking quite long, to be fair. Alright, here we go. Let's see what happens. Alright, we'll open this up. Not gonna lie, that is pretty terrible. I mean, it's okay, like the audience and stuff in the background, but the text is really, really bad. Like, look at that, it doesn't make sense. This was cool though. Let's have a look at this one. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. What on earth? So good. All right. Far the most impressive. This one was really cool. Adding my own image didn't really work. I didn't like the text, etc. I like the spinning video and that sort of thing. Brings me to life, but this bit is just no good. And then the crowd in the background is pretty cool too. But about this is like for response, but still, it's promising times. It's going to be really interesting to see what we get back. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my community that's focused on just making money and saving time with AI, feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom. Inside there, everything you need to know about AI. Top of that, we've got an awesome community where you can just post any questions. If you get stuck with stuff, post your questions, get answers quickly. It comes with all of our best workflows, tips, templates, tutorials, etc., including full SOPs on all of these new tools. Like just from April, we've updated this pretty much every single day, like you can see, and we're always testing the latest tools. The reason that I do test everything is because the community inspires me to keep going and keep building stuff with it. And then also there's weekly Q&As here, so if you want like direct help on a live call, you want to jump on a call, ask some experts some questions about AI, then you can do that every week inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. And if you want a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales, feel free to get that link in the comments description. And you can basically book in a free custom tailored game plan to get bigger, better results and get more leads, traffic, and sales for free from Google. First loader says, it did good on your character though, probably have to specify, don't put text in the video. Yeah, I think you're right there. Like, you probably want a negative prompt in there. So you can see here, there's a space for negative prompts. That would probably be really good. So for example, like no text, different stuff right there. I really like the camera angle in this generation that we did earlier. Where is it now? Let me find it. Yeah, the camera angle was really cool. And the animation, etc. It's just this bit that I would change. Like I would just don't put text or don't put a trailer, etc. So, see you in the next one. First letter says, I'll be joining soon. Appreciate you. And I will see you on the next